Well, I've reached the last contradiction on this list. Maybe our good friend will send more, but luckily I saved the best for last. This is about the genealogy of Jesus. Why are they different in Matthew and Luke? It almost seems like a blunder, but is it? Let's start by looking at a little bit of the genealogy in Matthew. So it starts with telling us who he is descended from by tying him to King David and Abraham. It starts with Abraham and ends with Joseph, the husband of Mary. Interesting. Let's now look at Luke's genealogy of Jesus. We have a genealogy starting with Jesus being the supposed son of Joseph, the son of Heli. And we go back to Adam. Definitely interesting. Do these genealogies contradict? They are certainly different, but are they different in a way that the two cannot be true simultaneously? Before we dig into that, let's first discuss something important. Each gospel was written for a specific audience with different focal points in the gospel accounts of Jesus. Matthew wrote to a primarily Jewish audience and wanted to show Jesus as the Messiah that we've been expecting since the prophets. Luke wrote primarily for a Gentile audience who did not have this full understanding of messianic prophecies, and in so focused on the fulfillment of hope and a promise of salvation for all of man. We also know Luke was from the Gentiles with a focus on accuracy. Matthew and Luke are coming from two different worlds with different purposes to tell the same story. And this is why Matthew starts with Abraham and Luke goes all the way back to Adam. There's two great possibilities to look at. We will look at option 1, which I held to until much more recently. I still think it's very much viable, but I recently got an understanding on option 2 that eliminated the one defeater that I had for it. Option 1 is the Levirate marriage view. Matthew is the genealogy tracing through the biological family of Joseph, while the genealogy in Luke traces his legal genealogy. Julius Africanus was the first to attempt a solution to the problem around 225 CE. In his letter to Aristides, he claims that Joseph's grandfather, Matin, was the first husband of a woman named Esther, through whom she bore Jacob. But after Matin died, he remarried Melchi and bore Heli. Jacob and Heli therefore were half-brothers. Heli married but then died without any offspring. So Jacob married his brother's widow, in accordance with the Jewish laws of Levirate marriage, as we read in Deuteronomy 25:5 through 10. As the offspring of this Levirate union, Joseph would have been seen as the perpetuation of the deceased brother's line, not that of his natural father. It gets very complicated tracing things down, and is very much a plausible solution to this alleged contradiction. But what's option 2? It's the most accepted view that I was skeptical of, but it's where Luke details the genealogy through Mary. I initially rejected it because the beginning literally starts with Jesus being from Joseph, who's from Heli. I began to think differently after reading carefully through. I see in the Greek manuscripts and Greek Bibles the wording makes a big difference. In Matthew, we see the word begenesin, which more or less translates to begat, or contextually here, fathered. In Luke, what we have is hios, which is son. It says Joseph is the son of Heli. This could have been used for option 1 as well. But we have two different words describing the relationship between Joseph and the supposed father of Joseph. For option 2, it fits in when we realize it still works if we realize a son-in-law is considered legally as a son, and it's very plausible for this to be the case. I've seen some arguments try to take it even further by saying that the punctuation to say supposed son should have actually ended after Joseph, making Heli the closest male ancestor to Jesus. We have two great plausible options with supporting data to back it up. If you believe these are indeed contradictory, you need to remove the plausibility from these options, from whatever rational means you have. But as of right now, these two are very valid options to make the two genealogies work with each other rather than against. I am sad that this is the last one for now. I hope we all had fun with these contradictions. And please, remember, a contradiction is more than a difference. They need to be different in ways you cannot have both being true at the same time. I took the time to make all these videos and had fun doing them. I hope they all serve you for the better, my friends. And as always, God bless you.